with the SIx Siege Invitationals being just around the corner. I have decided to say what I believe of each team in short ways and say what I predict of them. This will be an easy video, just talking about what I believe of each team from each group. This will just be from the group stage and not the playoffs. For Group A we have W7M, Koi, G2 Esport, Elevate and SSG. I believe this is what people will mostly see as group of death, because you have W7M, which is arguably, or like on most ways of looking at it, one of the strongest BR6 teams currently. Koi, I don't know if I should have high or low expectations of them. They've had a good stage this year in stage 2, but stage 1 and 3 they were alright to say. G2 Esport, I actually have been enjoying what I've seen of them this year. 2 majors, 2 quarterfinals in the major, and an off stage. I would actually say that even though I believe G2 is seen as a worse team than Koi, for this invitational, I've actually been more happy with G2 as a whole this year than I have with Koi. Elevate, I don't really know what you should say about them. They have had good stages, they've had bad stages this year, and they have had some more mediocre finishes. I will have some expectation of them to make it out to group, but I don't know. But depending on how we will see them in the group, I don't know if I can put them in the highest position. Space Station. This might be one of my more uncommon opinions, but I believe SSG has had a very bad year. Sure, they made it to last SI, they got to Games 8, and they played in Jönköping, but I wasn't happy seeing them this year, and I don't believe in their playstyle of being very objective and plant focused, as I believe that this can cause more round losses than round wins. So I will put the teams in this order. W7M I believe to come out first in groups. Not really surprising for the most. I then see G2 Esport. I just hope that Benja also then finds his way into this team quickly enough, and I believe then that they can be a really good, and I don't really want to say underdog team, but a team that can come far in this group. Third, might be a bit of a surprise pick, but I believe that Elevate can do really good in this group. I would then pick Koi as the 4th team. Very ugly 4, but as 4th, because I believe that they can still come out of this group, and if they can hit their guns, I just don't see really why they shouldn't make it out, but I don't really see them make a miracle, top 5 run or whatever. And this sadly leaves SSG to 5th. This is not to hate on NA, but I don't see a world where SSG will have an easy time making it out of this group. So for Group A, top seed will be W7M, then followed by G2, followed by Elevate, followed by Koi, and Space Station Gaming will be eliminated. Followed up by that we have Group number 2, also known as Group B. And well, I would say this is a group that can be very interesting in where you finish. Wolves have been looking good in Europe this year, but have been looking a bit weak when it comes to the majors, making it out of the majors, making it far in the majors. I have high hopes for them, but I don't know if that's more copium or if that is just having high expectation on a team that should do really good. Liquid is a team that I believe most people would have their eyes on throughout this major, and that's correct. You should have your eyes on Liquid. They have been really solid throughout the year. They are a good team, as we can see through the majors they have played. They made it to the grand final in Jönköping, and I believe that Team Liquid, if they can find just the right mood, the right place at the right time, they can be a SI champion potential winner. Though I know many people say this time after time, but it's something that's correct. Liquid is just a really good team that I believe can do much good. Then we have the SIx. I don't really know where to put SIx. I believe that the swap out for Kansan to Citizen is a interesting move to say nonetheless. But I don't really know if that's a upgrade, a downgrade, or keeping it around the same playing field, just with a different player this time. I can't say if I believe they will come far or if I believe they will hit rock bottom, but same with SG2. It depends on how quickly can Citizen find their way into SIx. So we will have to see. I believe this can be a very fun group to watch. Then we have M&M. And I can't say, and I don't really believe this team has what it takes to go very far this major. They just changed out Neo for Nathan, and I don't know if that's good at all, really. I believe that M&M have been a team that's been solid throughout the year. They made it to majors, and I believe that they should have stuck with their core that they have been in throughout the year, but they obviously felt differently, and I have to respect them for that because they obviously know more about themselves than I do. But I don't know if Nathan is the right call for them. I don't know how they may fit him in, but I don't believe, just for looking at statistics, that he's the right call. Direwolves. If you want to look into the sad stories of the year, Direwolves is a good, sad story. They have been looking very dominating for some stages. Then you have players like Reaps leaving the team, leaving them in a bit of a shadow, not really knowing where to go. I believe this can be a dark horse team really for this group. A team that people will overlook, say, they will just be feed for the other teams, and then you will have the other four be like the contenders. But I'm not really saying I believe in that. My way of putting this would be that Liquid is getting out of group with top seed, followed by Wolves. Then we will see Direwolves in the third place, followed by SIx in a fourth place, and M&M coming last. And yet another ugly number. We'll just see, can I get that somewhat better? There we go. This is how I believe, because I don't see, sure you can say, it's just, he's just putting BR teams at number 1, year 2 and so, but I'm just believing that this is where we can see a good lineup for this team, and this is where I truly believe with my heart we can see where Group 2 ends. Now we can look into Group C. I would say this is probably the weakest group out of the bunch, but it has some good teams in it as well. Let's start off with Astralis. It's a team that I have been heavily disappointed with this year. But you might say, hey, they made it to a grand final. They've been top 6 or so in most stages of the NAL. Why aren't you happy with them? And that's because I just feel that from looking at them, after the LMG meta got nerfed, I just don't think they have found really themselves. They don't really know and I'm not happy with what I'm seeing them doing. And I believe that if Charlotte Major didn't happen, we aren't seeing Astralis in this. They are fighting teams like TSM, SSG, and them in the closed qualifiers for SI. I don't have I'm happy if they do something this SI. I'm gonna be really happy, but I don't really see that happening. Cyclops though, interesting. This is a team I would call interesting for right now. They have finally made some change, and I believe that the Japanese or Asian way of playing Siege, which can be a bit more aggressive, can be really interesting to see against North American teams, which have been very slow this year now, especially on attack. Will this come back and bite Cyclops in the back, or will this just lead to them having a good time against the night teams? Only time will tell. Oxygen. I don't know what to say about this team. It's a team that doesn't, in my eyes, doesn't really excel in anything really. It's just a team that's there. It gets to the major sometime. It gets out of the groups. They did a recent change to Oxygen in their lineup. They had a war stage 3 in the beginning, but then kind of found themselves come the second half of the stage, if you want to say it like that. I don't know if I should have any high expectations for this lineup, but I will have that they will at least go out of the group, but I don't know if I can put them in a higher than like top 10. BDS on the other hand, though, I have really high expectations for. Changing out Rafael for EFAC, I believe to be a really good decision just on their side. They won the Jönköping Major, which is a good thing to do. And I just don't have any reason to doubt that Team BDS will go far. And then we have Team 1 or Lost Plus 1, which I assume is the way you say it. I don't really know what to put this team in. They can be a dark horse because they haven't been because I believe that all of Brazil is just in a place where teams are very, very strong. But since we haven't seen this core of Team 1 in too many majors, I don't know if we can say that they will be a like like how MIBR were last year, where they just were dominating teams in the lower brackets, or if they will be just the team that just were there. But seeing how they played in the closed qualifiers, I'm also not sure from there. NIP, which they played in the grand final of the open qualifiers, looked good, but they beat them on the final map. And Furia, which I would say was the only real competitors in the close qualifiers for Team 1, they just didn't look like themselves through that series. So, but I will put this like this. BDS first seed. I don't really think this is a controversial one. But I will put this first. That was an ugly 5. Astralis is 5th. I just don't have any high hopes for them. Then as a dark horse, Loss is making it in the 2nd. Like, I just see Brazilian teams being better than these teams, Astralis, Cyclops and Oxygen, just in, any sort of way. 3rd place, Cyclops. New gunner on the team, I believe will do great for them. Just having some fresh blood, just having some fresh ideas and just being new. And they will break the curse of being grouped every stage, major that is, and just have a good time. And I believe in them, really. And then leaves Oxygen as fourth. You know, one enemy team had to make it out of this group. And for that, I believe Oxygen is just a more solid team, a better team than Astralis. So that's Group C. And to close it off, we have Group D. If I can say it like this before we begin, I believe Group A was the group of death. Group B was the interesting group. Group C was the weak group. Group D, it's the what did you smoke when making this group? Because I believe that it's only one team that's kind of ensured will make it out. And that's not because I believe every other team is that good, it's just because I believe every other team can have a really crappy time. Well, two technically, because I believe M80 and FaZe will make it out, just saying, making that out quickly. But the other three teams in Heroic, DC and Team Secret, there might be amazing. There might be horrible. We've seen both sides of them, all sides of them this year. We have seen these sides come to majors. And I don't know where to put this group really. But to start off, M80. I believe it's probably the team from NA that I have the most hopes in. They are looking strong. They have had a good year. And I don't really see a reason why they shouldn't make it out of the group. Depending on how the playoffs go, though. That's where I believe we may see them struggle a bit. From my opinion, they look like a very emotional team that may have a harder time to reset, and I believe that can be what eventually makes them fall flat for this SI. Heroic. I was a supporter of them at the start of the year. I believe that the team when they still had Gorgona, Slav and that on the team, that was such a solid team. They just needed to iron out some flaws. This team they have now, however, I don't really know what's happening. They are sort of the European Astralis, fallen flat. I just can't really see them have do much at all this stage or this group. The only team I can really see them beat or have like easy fights against will be Secret, because they are both from Europe. Dark Zero. I really dislike Dark Zero's playstyle. I really dislike Dark Zero as what they are doing, and I don't like the core because I don't believe it's a strong core any longer. I believe that after Charlotte, they just didn't do anything well. And I'm really disappointed in them because I believe they have good talent. But I would say that for me, Dark Zero is not a team that I see make it for. FaZe Clan. This is an interesting one. They recently changed out cameraman for Vita King, who is a upcoming tier 2 player from Brazil. Interesting. As we have seen, I really like to talk about the changes these new teams taking in rookies or not rookies really, but doing lineup changes for the SI. This can be really good or really bad for FaZe. But I will just say that other team or the rest of the team is just so good that even if Vita King doesn't find himself in the highest of highs, or his best performance, I still believe that his team can make it a bit into the SI secret though. I don't know where to put them. They've been looking awful throughout the whole year in UL, and with same reason as SSG had in from Group A. They are a very plant-oriented team, but I just believe that Team Secret, they are just not really at a level where the 4 other teams are. So I will put Secret as my bottom team. For my 4th team I will put DC, Heroic 3rd, M80 at 2nd, and FaZe in 1st. This is my prediction for then how the groups will look or turn out. And yeah, we will see how it ends up. I have probably cursed now every team here, but good luck in Montreal teams.